What's up, guys? This is Joe. I'm over here at the Petro down here in North Carolina, exit 106, down here in Carolina, right not too far, about 50 miles from the Virginia-North Carolina border. And I'm sorry if you hear background noise. My truck is running because I'm trying to keep the air conditioning running in there because it's hot. Yeah, I just got done talking when I pulled up over here, if you follow me on Facebook. And no sooner than I pull up, two WWE trucks pull up beside me or across from me here in the parking lot. So I start chatting with one of the drivers. It is amazing what just the truck drivers, guys, have to go through with this company as far as the backing into these arenas, the way they get around town, when they can and can't. I was just talking to him about WrestleMania. They are just now finishing up down there in Orlando and in Miami with access and taking down the stages and loading the trucks. They have 13 trucks that are leased through Stage Call, which is the parent, which is who owns the trucks that these guys are driving, and they just have a dedicated account with WWE. These truck drivers, guys, are on the road for 50 weeks out of the year. The guy told me he's home 2 weeks a year, and that's when they go on international tours. That is crazy to think about, being on the road for 50 weeks a year, away from your family and all that, Yeah, we always hear the talent sit there and bitch about that, but you never hear about the stage hands and the truck drivers. And a couple of notes as my truck shuts off. Hold on one second, actually. Let me turn this fan off here. There we go. Sorry about that. Like in Miami, the guy was telling me that the access was set up, Raw was only 13 miles away from where they had WrestleMania. And about, getting in there and getting it set up. The head truck driver got down there 2 weeks ago to start setting up, he said. That's amazing. He said WrestleMania, the WrestleMania sign that everybody points to up in the rafters? And like when Sheamus won the Royal Rumble, he pointed up to it and the pyro exploded off of it and whatever. They have a whole 53-foot trailer just for that sign. It's amazing. Their schedule, he said, runs pretty much like this. They'll do Raw. They'll get in Sunday night for Raw around midnight. Park the trucks. Go to a hotel. WWE pays for their hotel the entire time they're in a city. All 2 or 3 days or whatever it be. They'll go to the hotel. Come back at about 7 o'clock in the morning. Bump the docks at the arena. Union guys unload these trucks. They go park the trucks somewhere far away from the arena so that fans can't pester them or whatever. They do the show, and about as the show was going on, they're breaking down stuff that they don't need anymore for like pyro and seamstress and sets and stuff like that, and they put it back in the trailers. And immediately, about maybe around 3 o'clock in the morning, after everything's all said and done, it's crazy. That show ends at 11:05. By 3 a.m., they're packed up and ready to go. It's crazy. And he says he drives all night to wherever the show is Tuesday. They usually try to keep it close by. And does it all over again. After the Tuesday show, they go and they drive to wherever Monday Night Raw is located. Now, you're probably asking, and I asked the guy, I says, where do you keep the sets? Like, don't they drive up to Stanford and go get the sets for Raw and then, or pay-per-views or whatever? No. They keep everything with them constantly. I mean, the guy was telling me right now he has a steel cage in his truck that they use. Of course, it's all broken down, but he was talking about how, at one show, they decide to have if they decide to have a cage match after all the trucks have been unloaded, it's a pain in the ass for these drivers because now they have to go figure out which truck has the cage in it and bump the docks again, back down into the street or whatever. And he was talking about one of the talents, like the newer guys on the roster, are sitting there reading their scripts diligently, and they just when they got the script memorized, he says he watched he watched Evan Bourne one time. He said reading his script, and then all of a sudden the writers come up about 3 hours after he's finally got it memorized and hand him another one that's been redone, and how it's a pain in the ass for these talent. The guy said he was talking. Here's some good news, big news. He was talking with Brock Lesnar Monday night after everything was all said and done, and said that the guy just does not look healthy. And this is coming from, it's coming from a truck driver, but the guy was saying he just does not look nowhere near like he did back in 2002. Goes back to my point, that kind of scares me. But anyway, I'll get to that in a second. They get paid $110 a day. Like the guy, he's here now at this Petro. Sunday, they are in Washington, or this coming Monday, they're in Washington, D.C., and then they got to go to Hampton. You're in North Carolina. It's maybe about a 6 to 8 hour drive from here to Washington, D.C. It's not that long. Maybe longer, maybe about 11-hour drive. So he's going to sit here for 2 days, get paid, and then he said probably around Thursday night, Friday morning, he'll drive up to D.C. That's a hell of a job. That's a cushy little job right there. But then again, he said that the backing that you have to go through, as far as like backing these trucks into the docks, is strenuous. It's a pain in the ass. All the docks are real tight. All the spaces you have to back into are real tight. And you have to get it just right, or else they cannot unload. He was telling me about how, they WrestleMania was big, and they're getting ready to go through Chicago. Chicago has a lot of low overpasses, so they're already starting to plan their route of how they're going to get from wherever the last SmackDown is to wherever the, I think it's the Allstate Arena in Chicago. He said as for house shows, they only have one truck, seeing as how they decided to build a set for house shows. They have one truck that goes around and does the house shows. Said that they had about 20 trucks there just for WrestleMania. Vince owns all the trailers that you see with the WWE stuff plastered, like the one that's on my Facebook page with Big Show. So yeah, that there's a lot more he went into that, it just boggles the mind what these guys have to go through. They put them up in a hotel. They feed them. They pay their taxi cabs from the hotel if they have to take a taxi cab from the hotel back to their truck. So yeah, there's that's what it's like. I hope this guy does not hit my damn truck. You better not hit me when you're backing into that spot, buddy. Sorry guys, I have to be pretty vigilant here. I'm going to back out of this shot for one. There we go. Okay, he's in. Sorry, when people back into spots and it's like they're getting within about maybe an inch away from my truck, it scares me, especially when it's an 80-year-old man that probably can't see anymore. But anyway. If some of you may notice, I'm actually going to go ahead and split this into 2 videos. Coming up in my next video that's going to be posted, I've been having a quote-unquote conversation with one Deshaun Williams, aka McAvoy, and if any of you have been following me since my early days in radio, he's the guy who gave me my very first radio show on the now extinct barbedwire-press.com network. That's right, I had the distinct pleasure of being a barbed wire boy. That was great. Actually, it really was. It really was great. I had a fun time working for that website. But me and him have been kind of getting into a little bit of a pissing match on Facebook. And I feel like I need to explain myself in person or in video form because words just can't do it justice. And nobody's clearly understanding why I'm being so negative at what's going on in the WWE. But anyway, that's for the next video. Until then, this is Trucker Joe signing off. We'll see you down the road.